So picture this. You're sitting across a small candlelit table from someone totally new.
Oh, the classic first date setup.
Right, exactly. The ambiance is great, the drinks are poured, but internally, your mind is running an absolute marathon.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
It really is, because you've got work emails pinging in your pocket, notifications buzzing against your leg, and just this lingering heavy stress of a chaotic commute sitting squarely on your shoulders.
You're physically there, sure, but mentally.
Mentally, you are a million miles away. And, I mean, today we are pulling apart a guide from Weddizer that argues this exact scenario. This modern wall of digital and mental noise is quietly killing our ability to form real relationships.
Yeah, it's a critical conversation right now, honestly.
It is, because their roadmap is all about how to cut through that noise using genuine presence and self-awareness. And not just as, like, nice-to-haves, but as the absolute baseline for lasting connection.
Well, we spend so much of our dating lives completely on autopilot, you know?
Yeah.
We treat a first date like a high-stakes job interview or like a piece of performance art rather than a genuine interaction between two human beings.
Yeah.
The baseline argument from the source is that we've forgotten how to actually show up.
I always think about it like having way too many browser tabs open on a computer.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. You know that feeling when the machine is running hot, the fan is spinning incredibly loudly, and everything is just lagging?
Yes, the dreaded spinning wheel.
Exactly. You might be physically looking your date in the eye, but your mental bandwidth is entirely drained by the 20 invisible tabs running in the background. You've got the work stress tab, the social media tab, the anxiety tab. It takes up all your RAM.
That lack of RAM is exactly what prevents presence.
What?
And the distinction this guide makes early on is so crucial. Simply showing up is not the same as being present.
Right.
If you are operating from a place of trying to manage all those tabs while simultaneously trying to project this, like perfect impression, your processing power is just tapped out.
You literally have nothing left for the person in front of you.
Exactly. Choosing to be present is the deliberate act of closing those background tabs. It's allocating all your mental bandwidth to the person sitting right across from you. And doing that, well, it fundamentally alters the energy in the room.
So let's get into the mechanics of closing those tabs, starting with the physical barriers. Now, I mean, I know our listeners aren't oblivious. We all know that leaving your phone face up on the table during a date is incredibly rude.
Right, that's just dating 101.
Yeah, exactly. But the what is our piece pushes harder on this. It's not just about hiding the screen. It's about silencing notifications, completely and deliberately cutting off that digital tether.
Because it's not just about politeness, it's about cognitive capacity. There is this psychological concept called attention residue.
Wait, attention residue, what is that?
So when your phone buzzes in your pocket, even if you don't check it, a portion of your brain's processing power gets diverted to wondering who just texted you.
Oh, wow. So you're distracted without even looking.
Yes, that cognitive portion gets stuck on the phone for the next 10 or 15 minutes. You are literally borrowing brain power away from the conversation you are currently having.
That is wild.
Right. So when they advise completely removing the phone from the equation, they are talking about protecting your cognitive load. You need that load so you actually have the capacity for active listening.
Okay, I have to push back on the whole active listening thing, though, or at least how we usually practice it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's be real here. When you're incredibly nervous on a first date, the silence is terrifying.
It really is.
So it is so easy to fall into the trap of just quietly waiting for your turn to speak. You know, you nod, you make the right facial expressions, but internally your brain is scrambling to formulate your next clever response so you don't look boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is that different from what they are advocating?
Well, what you're describing is conversational survival mode.
Survival mode, I like that.
Yeah, because you aren't listening, you are strategizing.
Yeah.
Active listening requires you to drop the strategy completely.
Which is easier said than done.
Oh, 100%. It involves maintaining eye contact, resisting that desperate urge to interrupt with your own relatable story, and actually asking follow-up questions of what the other person just said. It means retaining the details.
Right. But why does that matter so much?
Because it isn't just to be a good conversationalist. It's about generating psychological safety.
Let's pull that thread. How does me remembering a detail about their dog, for example, create psychological safety?
When a person notices that you aren't just waiting for your turn to talk, when they see you absorbing their words and leaning into their meaning, their nervous system literally registers you as a safe presence.
Oh, so it's a biological response.
Exactly. They stop feeling evaluated.
Hmm.
And when that psychological safety is established, they feel comfortable enough to drop their own performance.
That makes total sense.
So active listening is the actual mechanism that accelerates emotional intimacy. It's a biological signal telling the other person, hey, you are safe to be real with me.
Which is an amazing outcome. But here is the paradox I see.
What's that?
Once you clear away all that external noise, like your phone is off, you aren't strategizing your next joke, you are just sitting there. The internal noise becomes incredibly loud.
Oh yeah, the silence is deafening.
Right. You are suddenly forced to sit with your own thoughts.
And that silence is where the real work begins. Removing the external distractions naturally exposes your internal distractions.
Yeah, the guide definitely pivots here from physical presence to internal self-awareness.
It challenges you to recognize your own emotional reactions in real time, instead of just letting them steer the ship on autopilot.
It gives some really pointed examples of the kind of internal questioning you should be doing while you're sitting there. Things like pausing to ask, why am I feeling this way right now? Am I judging this person too quickly?
Yes, or the big one.
Am I bringing past relationship experiences into this new conversation?
That last question is usually the biggest landmine in modern dating.
For sure. I was thinking about it like trying to navigate a brand new city using a map from a totally different place you used to live.
You're guaranteed to get lost.
Exactly. You will see a perfectly innocent text message or hear a casual comment from your date, and because you're using your old map, your brain immediately flags it as a massive threat or a criticism.
Let's look at the mechanism behind that old map. The survey brain is essentially a prediction machine.
Okay.
It uses past experiences to predict future outcomes to keep you safe. If an ex-partner used a specific phrase right before a massive argument, and your new date uses that same phrase casually.
Boom, alarm bells.
Exactly. Your amygdala, which is the brain's threat detection center, just lights up. You feel an instant wave of anxiety or defensiveness. Your brain is trying to protect you based on the old map.
But the threat isn't actually real. It's a ghost from the past. So, how do we actually stop doing that in the middle of a date? Do we just ignore the anxiety?
The opposite, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the guide strongly advises against suppressing those messy emotions. If you try to shove down the anxiety, it usually leaks out as irritability or detachment.
Okay, so what do we do instead?
You use curiosity to engage your prefrontal cortex, the logical, reasoning part of your brain,
Okay.
by internally asking yourself, wait, why am I suddenly feeling defensive? You force your brain out of the emotional reaction and into observation mode.
So you kind of step outside yourself for a second.
Right. You realize, I'm not mad at my date. I'm reacting to a trigger. That micro moment of self-awareness separates the past from the present. You update the map in real time.
So you are basically troubleshooting your own emotional software while the date is happening.
Exactly. And doing so prevents you from projecting your past trauma onto a blank slate. You can finally see the person sitting across from you for who they actually are.
Rather than a composite of everyone who has hurt you before.
Exactly.
Well, if we're no longer using the old map and we aren't terrified of the person across from us, we lose the need to fake our way through the interaction.
Which is a huge relief.
It is. And this takes us right into how this self-awareness directly fuels authenticity. The Weddizer piece talks a lot about the trap of the perfect image.
The perfect image is essentially just another defense mechanism.
Right.
When we lack self-awareness, we try to compensate by constructing this flawless, highly curated facade. We think if we just present the best, most unbothered, most impressive version of ourselves, we will win the person over.
But faking it is cognitively exhausting. If you are constantly monitoring how you sound, how you're holding your glass, whether your laugh was too loud.
You are draining all that mental RAM again.
Yes, you have zero bandwidth left to actually connect.
And beyond the exhaustion, it physically betrays you. Communication extends far beyond the words leaving your mouth.
Oh, 100%.
Your date's brain is subconsciously taking in your facial expressions, your tone, your micro movements, your body language. When you are performing a persona, there is almost always a mismatch between your words and your nonverbal cues.
Like saying you're relaxed when you're clearly tense.
Right. You might be saying, oh, I'm so relaxed and having a great time, but your shoulders are practically up to your ears and your arms are tightly crossed. The other person's brain registers that incongruence as untrustworthy.
They feel the disconnect, even if they can't articulate it.
Exactly. But when you are genuinely present and authentic, sharing your actual interests, speaking naturally, accepting that you might stumble over your words, your body relaxes.
And people pick up on that.
They do.
Yeah.
Your nonverbal cues naturally align with your intentions. That alignment reads as confidence. Real confidence